Barack Obama very carefully choosing his words because, as we know, words are incredibly important, particularly when you are the leader of the most powerful country in the world. So let's talk about that now with Anneke E, who is former speechwriter to George W. Bush and joins us now from LA. Good to have you with us. Firstly, which Donald Trump do you think we will see in the White House? The fiery, divisive Trump from the campaign trail, or this slightly more humble and subdued Donald Trump that we've seen in the past few days?
I think we will see the President Donald Trump, who will be different from the candidate Donald Trump.
In what way? Do you think he's going to have to modify his language?
I think he's already modified his approach to things. The meeting that he's had with President Obama, where it was supposed to be 15 minutes, and it ended up being 90 minutes, and he came out of it saying great things about President Obama. He, on 60 Minutes, has said wonderful things about the Clintons and said they're good people. So I think that that is going to characterize him as a president more than how he campaigned.
Lots of people will be asking, though, Anneke, if this is a man that needs some rewiring, because we're used to seeing him in absolute fine form and being very direct. The phrase, "you're fired," springs to mind. It's not exactly the language you can use once you're president.
Well, I think that what he has done as a political candidate is unprecedented. He has harnessed the digital age, and his theory of news was any headline where they're talking about you is good. Any news is good news. And so that's how he campaigned. And it has brought him into the White House in a change election. I don't think that he will be looking to be talked about as president. I think he'll be looking to set the agenda and get it accomplished, which may lead to a very different style as an executive.
As a speechwriter, though, and a wordsmith, how would you be advising him in terms of reaching out to America? Because the country is so divided at the moment, and one of his key messages is one of unity.
Yes, definitely. And I think that he's already signaled with his staff appointment of Reince Priebus, who is the head of the Republican National Committee, as well as of Steve Bannon, who is the leader of, he's the CEO of a website called Breitbart, that represents a lot of the frustrations of people who are looking for change. He signaled that he wants to unify. So he has both of these people who come from very different professional backgrounds who will likely not always be on the same page. And I think that as a speechwriter, I would advise him to keep that in mind as he's giving his speeches, as he's trying to set his agenda. He needs to bring people along, not lecture them, which I think he'll do.
And yet with Steve Bannon and his appointment, we've already had human rights groups, Muslim leaders, Jewish leaders come out and condemn that decision and saying he is really not, shouldn't be the face of an administration or one of the faces of an administration because Breitbart discourages unity.
Well, he definitely has to stay more behind the scenes, and I believe the role that he has been appointed to is designed to do that. So he will be there giving advice and being a voice at the table that did elect Donald Trump to the presidency. So he can't abandon that voice or those viewpoints. Not to say that it's okay to be hateful or to say things to try to increase division, but he's not interested in that. In his 60 Minutes interview, when he was told people were feeling afraid, he was very surprised by that and said, well, I don't think they know me. I'm not interested in making people feel afraid. And I think that his agenda will be to continue that message to all Americans.
Anneke, do you think he needs to get off Twitter, Donald Trump, or will get off Twitter?
I don't know if he will, whether he needs to. He has quite a large following, and if he continues to see that as a means of getting his message across, I think he'll stay on there. And that example was set for him by Barack Obama, who was the first president to be on Twitter. And so I think he'll continue that, but what he says will be possibly the thing that changes.
Anneke E, thank you so much for joining us here.